Christmas done the right way. If you've been thinking about making a big splash this year, Govee's got you covered with an assortment of all new plug-and-play devices that are sure to spark your creative side and bring out the holiday cheer. And now's the time to strike while the deals are hot and in motion. I've been reviewing Govee products for years, and this was by far the biggest single installation yet. And a good chunk of that has to do with Govee's 200-foot outdoor Prism installation on my 27-foot tall, abnormally shaped home. Now, if you're a longtime follower of the channel, you know that from an interior perspective, Govee has practically taken over the house. But this time, things have definitely gotten way out of hand, to the point where you could probably spot my house from space. And somehow, some way, I've secured the wife's blessing with expanding the Govee ecosystem to this extent. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot's riding on the professionally installed PermTrack system for the Prism lights, because it really helps blend the install into the roof eaves seamlessly. So for all intents and purposes, this is my Christmas 2025 blowout exhibition that is 100% plug and play. And for this video, I'll be walking you through Govee's latest and greatest Christmas products. We'll dive in on their latest Christmas string lights too, their Christmas sparkle lights, UpDown wall lights, cone tree, curtain lights pro, their net lights, and you'll definitely want to stick around for the massive 200-foot Prism light installation where I'll walk you through the entire process from end to end. We'll take a look at the features, live demonstrations, and more. So I'll kick things off first with taking a look at the two products that are not only the easiest to install, but have the most versatility in terms of where and how they can be used. And that is the Govee Christmas String Lights 2 and the Govee Christmas Sparkle String Lights. Now on the surface, these two products seem virtually identical. So the first thing I was curious to understand is what exactly is the difference and what sets them apart. I mean, isn't a Christmas string light a Christmas string light? Well, yes and no. You see, if you examine the two Christmas lights a bit closer, you'll notice that they each have quite different designs and layouts in terms of how the light beads are arranged. These sparkle lights have a more irregular triangle build, featuring a high-density diffused bullet head LED design, while the string lights too have a more traditional teardrop bead design, which are arranged more uniformly in a single line. So as a result, even though the two strips share the same RGB-ICW technology, which means that they both have dedicated white chips, these sparkle string lights are much more dense, with 250 LEDs for the 20-meter length as compared to 200 LEDs for the string lights 2 at that same meter length. The higher density of the sparkle lights creates a smoother star-like effect, and there's an amazing preset twinkle effect that I think looks so classic and elegant, especially on an artificial tree with the sparkle lights woven in a vertical format courtesy of my wife. This is literally a Dollar Tree Christmas tree that looks 4 times what it actually cost with the sparkle lights added on. Another advantage of the sparkle lights versus string lights 2 is that it features over 140 preset effects versus 130 for string lights 2. However, the string lights 2 does have a better waterproof rating at IP65 versus IP44 for the sparkle lights, so definitely keep that in mind. And the string lights 2 are also available in even longer lengths beyond 30 meters. There is a 50 meter and a 100 meter string lights 2 available. So depending on your application, they may be your best bet regardless. On the front lawn, I have the string lights 2 wrapped around a large bush as shown here. It's also wrapping the base of both trees on either side. And I even have it wrapping a large wreath hanging over the front door. It's also worth noting that the strip lights 2 ship in a clear variant that really helps them blend on white painted structures. Originally, I'd actually installed the green string lights 2 on my front arbor. Now it looked really good at night, but I didn't like the visible green lines in the day, so I swapped it out for the clear and I couldn't be happier. There are 2 large pillars on my porch that I also wrapped in the clear string lights too, and I love how they practically vanish in the day. And one last thing, both the sparkle lights and the string lights too can both take advantage of Govee's new cutting edge shape mapping technology. This is a feature hidden within the settings that activates 3D positional precision by utilizing your camera lens. When you aim your camera at the installed lights, the app scans and analyzes the positional layout, so the effects become more smoother and have a more streamlined flow in appearance. Switching gears over to the Govee UpDown wall lights. These are actually the successor of the original Govee outdoor wall lights, where the light is aimed directly outward, versus this new design that provides a less harsh and softer glow by throwing the light in 4 different directions: top, bottom, left, and right. The UpDown wall light can put out up to 1200 lumens, and it has both dedicated warm and cool white LEDs on board. I swapped out my old porch light fixtures for these, and I think it makes the entranceway feel larger and more grand. But hands down, my favorite feature about this outdoor wall light is that it can provide both ambiance and luminance simultaneously. I often have the top and bottom sections of the light produce a natural cool white temperature, while the side sections take care of the ambiance. Now, I got a little overzealous and excited when I first got these in hand, and I didn't shoot a formal top down of the items that all ship inside. But quickly, here is a breakdown of the plate screws and the wiring hardware. When I installed these, I initially removed the pre-existing bracket that held the older light fixtures in place. However, for my particular setup, because the hole alignment was not perfect, I ended up going back, reinstalling the old brackets, and then I attached the UpDown wall light bracket to that. The installation process after that was extremely straightforward. Simply hit the appropriate breaker and attach the neutral white wire and the hot or black wire to the corresponding wires coming from the wall. And just like that, you'll have a modern and elegant lighting solution for everyday use and for special occasions like Halloween, Christmas, New Year's, birthdays, and parties. Now, in the past, I've had the opportunity to review multiple iterations of Govee's Current Lights products. They perform incredibly well both indoor and outdoor, and their latest version, which is the Govee Current Lights Pro, has improved animations, brightness, and a much more streamlined installation process. But no matter what model you go with, be it the original Current Lights 2 or the Current Lights Pro like you see here, they're all designed to be installed on a wall, drapes, a garage door, or even a driveway gate. And they essentially allow you to transform that surface where you install them into a digital art display template. And much like Govee's TV backlights, the current lights can even act as a sync center where sub-devices can be added to them so that their effects can literally jump from product to product to create a single uniform light show known as Scene Stage. Now, on the flip side, Govee has taken that same concept and principle and applied it to their outdoor net lights product, which are specifically designed for hedges. So in a way, you can think of the net lights as the shrunken down little brother of the curtain lights, except the net lights are obviously green so that they better blend in your yard. They do have a lower bead density in comparison, and they feature a net-like string design that attaches each of the vertical segments. This net design allows twigs and small branches to hold them into place. Additional cable ties and even floor nails are also provided inside of the box if you find that your net light needs additional support. Now, Govee offers a large size, which is 2.8 feet by 9.4 feet, which is what I have installed here on the left hedge. And there is a shorter size, which measures 2.8 feet by 4.7 feet. And that I have installed on the right hedge. And I'm actually splicing 2 of these smaller units to create a larger canvas. Switching gears over to the Christmas cone tree, and I don't have any idea where my wife picked up these LED presents, but they really set it off. The cone tree comes in both 6 feet and 7.5 feet sizes, and it also comes in either black or white. I have the 6-foot black variant, and here's an overhead shot of what all comes inside of the box. At first glance, I expected this install to take a good little while, but I was honestly done in 10 to 15 minutes. And here's the short version. You unfold the base, tighten down the center disc using the provided screws, and then attach the cosmetic cover piece to that. Once done, you'll connect the 3 pole sections. And I actually skipped the water bag portion since the included ground stakes felt more than sturdy enough for the installation on the lawn. Then you attach the cone tree star to the support bracket. And the final step simply involves snapping the hooks at the end of each of the light strings into place. That's really the gist of it, and you now have a standalone LED mini Christmas tree. I'm using the 6-foot version again, which features 316 independent LEDs and 82 preset scene modes. You can go wild with all types of effects, but I prefer to maintain that illusion of a traditional Christmas tree. And finally, we come to the largest and the most intense installation of them all, thanks to the complexity of the roof line and the overall height. As you can see, there are a number of triangles, elevation changes, and awkward angles, which made planning everything out a real challenge. On top of that, given that this is a permanent installation that will stay in place long after the holidays, we had to make it work with the PermTrack kit by J-Ro, also known as Jacob. This was a non-negotiable for my wife. If we were going to put up permanent outdoor lights on the front of the house to stay indefinitely, they needed to look clean, seamless, and built to last. And we really only had one real shot at this, because once they're up there, they're up there. So needless to say, I had to call in some reinforcements to get this project across the finish line. Huge shout out to the electricians who helped bring this vision to life, because throughout the research process, I learned that there are plenty of folks out there that are willing to install the Govee permanent lights, but only a very select few are willing to go through the more arduous task of installing them with the PermTrack installation kit. And I also have to give Jacob a huge shout out as well. Firstly, for offering the Govee outdoor PermTrack kits to begin with, and secondly, thank you Jacob for bumping the priority of my PermTrack shipment and for hopping on the line throughout the process to share tips and tricks, such as the recommended screw size to secure the tracks to the roof line. Shout out to Chris as well for inspiring this PermTrack solution. Some time ago, Chris said that he's a fan of mine. Well, I'm a fan of his. I love how he puts his content together, and I love how he thinks. Anyway, once it was time to roll up the sleeves and get the project in motion, the first thing we had to tackle before we could dive into planning on how we would make the jumps and splicing was power. Unfortunately, there was no original outlet on either side of the house, so we ultimately decided to create one on the right side of the house by tapping into an existing outlet on the inside. I was a little concerned about going this route because there is crown molding inside of the home where the outlet is positioned, but they did a bang-up job and there was no damage or complications once it was all said and done. Once power was in place, on contrary to what you might think, rather than starting the install on the right side of the house, we actually started on the far left. Reason being, even though we're working with a 200-foot kit, we weren't 100% sure if we'd have enough length to run the Prism all the way back on the right side, as it stretches back pretty far. So rather than risk coming up short on the left corner, which is right in the front, we decided to play it safe. Start on the left and end on the right. And if we had enough Prism left over once the front was fully covered off on, then work our way back on the far right as much as possible. So in this diagram, you can see the path that we took. We started on the far left, worked our way over to the first triangle, made the small jump, ran the Prism all the way across, and then down to where the roof drops over the porch area. We followed that line, utilizing a handful of elbow connectors included with PermTrack. And finally, we made our first big jump here, where we ran the wire all the way up, cleverly hidden behind a very conveniently placed gutter channel. And once we reached the top, we made the first splice. This allowed for the installation to continue onward in two different directions. The first path involved bringing the light all the way up to the top middle triangle, and following the second path, we installed the Prism on that third and final triangle. And when we came down off of that far right triangle, we created the second and final splice. And we actually got a little lucky here on the right corner because we had more than enough length to complete the wraparound. We installed the Prism all the way to the back of the eave, and we connected to the power outlet by running an extension cable down and hiding it behind the gutter channel on the far right of the house. And when it was all said and done, there was very minimal visible wiring, and the Govee Prism lights just blend into the roof eaves as envisioned. Wife was happy, I was happy, a job very well done. Anyway, after everything was up, I couldn't wait for nightfall, and one of the very first things I did inside the app was jump inside the Scenes tab to mess around with the light segment settings. This is an amazing feature that the vast majority of Govee products cannot accommodate. In short, you're able to specify and customize various segments of the Prism light so that multiple scenes can operate simultaneously. So for example, I can have the triangle and the flat roof over the front porch produce one scene, and I can have the left and the right triangle generate independent standalone scenes of their own. And I gotta say, it's amazing to have the best of both worlds. At the time of this recording, there are over 100 preset scene modes to take advantage of with the Prism. For the holidays, the Festival tab is probably where you'll want to spend most of your time. Christmas Bee and Candy Cane are among my favorite. And if you hit that pencil icon, you'll be able to customize the cycling colors that a given preset will utilize. You can also customize the speed of movement, and I can't tell you how clutch that is. Of course, you have your general illumination tab to leverage the dedicated warm and cool white LEDs. But I really have to highlight the all-new AI Lightning Bot 2.0 because it takes even more of the labor out of creating some very cool and original color palettes and patterns. You see, the AI has gotten even smarter, so you no longer need to manually select colors and adjust brightness from prompts. These small tweaks and modifications are now fully handled by the AI bot, and it can now handle multi-turn conversation.
Your forest scene is ready.
So for example, following the AI's original generated content, I can say things like make green a little darker, and that action will be performed to the original palette.
Got it. I've gently darkened the green canopy for a richer, deeper forest feel while keeping the sunbeam and fireflies just as they were.
Now, of course, I couldn't end this video without highlighting what makes Govee's ecosystem stand out amongst a sea of new players. In one word, it's the software. And one of the best ways to illustrate just how powerful that is through the Scenic Dream View feature. Inside the app, you create a group for your outdoor lights that you want to sync. And from there, you're able to select specific themes and effects that will ripple across your entire lawn in perfect harmony. And the best part is that this feature isn't reliant on a single device to act as the designated sync center, as is the case for Scene Stage, which requires that Curtain Light Pro to act as the brain. It's features like these that makes every new additional Govee product that you pick up feel just as fun and exciting as the last. Before I leave you guys with a few more live demonstrations, I just want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and as always, thank you for your continual support and simply taking the time to click on this video to listen at me talk about cool tech, especially for those that continuously like, share, and comment, because I can't tell you how much that truly means to me. If you have any specific questions regarding any product showcased, or if you're looking for some installation tips, make sure to sound off down in the comments below. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.